Hey everybody, how we doing today? It's a Wednesday. Excited. Um, Super excited to have my girlfriend Julie jump on. She is a life transformation and trauma coach. Who knew we all needed that? But I'm excited to jump on with her. She has a new book she just released called Rise. Let me see, why is this not letting me click on here? Let me just see here. Here we go. Accept. And she has been so wonderful for me in my life. Everything that I've worked through. Oh, there she is. What's going on? Hi.
Hi, beautiful.
It is so good to have you.
Thank
How are you doing today?
Me. It's so good to see your face.
Same. It's been one heck of a couple of years, and I know you are in the space of healing, and you work with a lot of really amazing women. You are what's called a multi-modality healer and life coach. You work with trauma. You've experienced a lot of trauma. I think a lot of people have experienced trauma and actually not really even understood what it was. And it's funny because, I had both parents in my house and felt very loved. But when I look back, I see some trauma like any person has experienced. And when you start to become a little bit more aware of the work you need to do, you sort of feel a little bit more liberated and light. So how did you get into your field? What exactly do you do?
Well, one, I want to touch on that trauma is a universal language. And I think it took the pandemic for people to really open up and start using that word without lynching or without saying, kind of shutting down what their own experience is, right? Because sometimes we're all like, oh no, their trauma was worse than mine. Therefore, I don't even have to deal with what comes up for me when I'm triggered, or that I even have to look at my own self-limiting beliefs. Okay, so I'll tell you my backstory quick and how I got into this, and then I can't wait to dive in even more. There's so much goodness to talk about. So when I was 20 years old, I lost my boyfriend to gun violence. And I grew up in Minnesota, and, in a culture that doesn't necessarily talk or share our feelings, especially around grief or with traumatic loss. So that wasn't my first trauma. I have had a slew of them, like we all have, but this was the one that kind of threw me into a place that I didn't know how to deal with the grief and the hurt and the loss. And so I started to recognize that a little bit, but it took me almost start doing the work. And I would say it was because I had two little girls. I have two little girls, and I was going through a divorce. And I was like, you know what? I want to be the best version of myself.
It might not be me. It might be me. Let's see here. There we go. I wasn't sure if it was me that was frozen. I think it might be Julie. Let's try this again. Hopefully she just jumped on again. Oh no, she left. Okay, so we'll wait for a second. But yeah, Julie has so much wisdom and so much goodness, and I think the work in life sometimes becomes calling yourself out, and I've needed to do that a lot lately. All right, here we go. I think we're able to get her on. Let's jump in with Julie. Julie is my godmom. Oh, you're very lucky. You are very lucky. She's incredible. There we go. Okay. I know, you know what, internet, sometimes it's the blessing and the curse of being able to do this. So don't worry about it. I thought it was me. I was like, I might be frozen right now. But anyway.
All of a sudden mine is just like, meh. Okay. Anyway, we'll try this again, and if it happens again, I'll pop back on.
No worries. Right. Perfect.
Okay, so basically what I was at was that I had a real self-awareness moment, and I was like, I need to do some work to not continue to keep feeling like tomorrow I'll feel better, but I wanted to feel better then. So
Mm.
through this trauma, I discovered my purpose. Really, I started my first thing was the 21 days of self love with Louise Hay, which is like mirror work, and then I kept going. So I discovered, I mean, so many books, so many courses, but I started doing Reiki, which led me to be a Reiki master. And then I did a crystals, I mean, I just went for it. I did a crystal certification course. I became a meditation teacher. And then I got certified as a business and spiritual coach, which is with a trauma healing kind of background, as well as integrative wellness. So this journey for me has really been based on my own need to heal. And through that, I gained enough tools where I feel like, okay, I can now teach and share with other people and be a part of their healing journey, which I love more than anything.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people who get into this space, the gift that they have is the ability to reflect back the stuff that they've gone through.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, like doing the work and having lost a lot of very close, immediate family members, especially in the last 2 years. The solace that I've found, and I remember immediately after I lost my dad, because he and I had such a close, special relationship. I just wanted to be around the people that had survived losing a parent. Yeah. So I find comfort in those that have like admitted that they struggle. And I think the struggle is admitting that you struggle, because we've been indoctrinated, and our parents before that were always taught like, make enough money, have a house, find stability, but we never really realized we needed emotional stability. Our parents, the generation before that. And so it's interesting. So then your life, you've had challenges, as we all have, but yours uniquely, acutely, and then you got into this space of wanting to heal, or at least help others. How has your life changed since sort of investing in this space?
Profoundly. I think,
yeah.
People are fascinating. And when we're able to be vulnerable together, and you and I have talked about this is what we look for in our community and friendships as well. But when you're able to be vulnerable with one another and hold a space for someone, whether I've just met them for the first time or have known them forever, that's where the healing takes place, right? So when I see someone go from, hey, I'm lost, I'm hurting, I don't know what to do, to within 1 hour recognizing, one, that they need to make some changes, and that change is up to us personally, right? No one else can tell you what to do. And then to start going on that path, and then instantaneously a light go off. And with trauma, it's our self-limiting beliefs are, we're not lovable, I'm never going to trust, I'm never going to have money, I can't be successful, whatever it is for each person, to then shift it to say, I am love, I love myself, I can create abundance, I can create my dream career, I can do whatever I want, and then just to start taking steps to achieve it. It's like you stop stepping on your own feet. And that's when, and everyone says the universe, but it's true, it's like the law of the universe starts working in your favor. And so I think what I love is like seeing this happen for people in real time. It's not just reading a book, it's like in real time. Weeks go by and they're like, oh my gosh, someone who wants love, I just met my person. Or, it's just like, it's the coolest thing. And I don't know what, I'm going to write plenty of books, but I think that's what fascinates me, is actually seeing these laws, this energy work.
Yeah, and you really start to see people and feel seen. And that was kind of why this friendship of ours really grew so quickly. you were introduced to me by Zulai, who absolutely adores you, loves you, roots for you, and it's vice versa, which is so nice to see this beautiful, strong female connection of mutual women. Like, I learned from you when we were having lunch with Zulai and Kennedy was there. You gave her time off. You're like, I'm going to take the baby. You go, you have lunch, and you like, oh my God, it was like so beautiful to witness. Like, I got goosebumps, and I'm like, this is like female teamwork. Because, you know, the thing is too, women never want to ask for help. We never want to impose. We never want to inconvenience people. And back in the day, there weren't just one, you know, female in a household taking care of different number of children. There was like generations of kids in a household.
A village.
You know, to help.
And I always say it takes a village.
It takes a village, right? And we've somehow grown out of that and have not asked for help. And so it's nice to see moments of that coming together and really genuinely supporting and wanting other women to find peace and happiness and support. There's so much to get into with you. You recently helped me with reflection. I had come back from a trip and I was just feeling like super low about myself, and you know, it was nice because I coined the term yesterday. I've been a distractaholic. You know,
I love this.
Distractaholic, because you know there's workaholics, there's obviously alcoholics. All of them are opportunities to numb and really distract yourself from finding clarity. And I was just a busy bee. As soon as I lost my dad, I really never wanted to be still. I needed to go back to work right away. I just wanted to be a busybody. And so I had recently come back from a trip, and I was like really so beautifully supported by you when I was feeling avoidant AF. Yes, that's great. That's a good one. Yeah, avoidant-holic. That's a good, I mean, I think I'm a dismissive avoidant anyways. That's my attachment style, so nailed it. But I consciously chose, you know what, no more alcohol. I'm going to get super still, or at least try to. I went to go visit a girlfriend who did a silent retreat, and so then her and I were like meditating every day when I was on her, you know, when I was on vacation with her, and it was gorgeous. It was amazing. And you and I had this really wonderful conversation where we talked for an hour, and we came up with this idea of doing a bucket list.
Yeah.
It has been so amazing for me, and I feel like for you it's been really wonderful. Can we talk about your experience with putting together your bucket list? And then I want to talk about your book, because there's so much to talk about with you, and I know I only have so much time. But let's get into this bucket list, because it feels like for you it's been transformative.
It has, and I actually came up with kind of the 5 steps so that we could share it today, so that people can start to implement it if they want to, because I think it is that transformative. And, you know, it started with the conversation. I think we were both kind of at a low. And I say that because I think everyone should be able to say it honestly, like, I'm in a shit place right now. And I need one, support. I need to say it out loud. I need to admit it to myself. But let's go through these 5 steps, and I'd love your feedback, and we can kind of have our experience. But so number 1 is what I just said, is really like admitting to yourself, okay, time for me to make some changes, right? Not just projecting it, not just meditating, not just manifesting, which are all amazing tools. I teach them in general, but actually admitting to yourself, okay, time to make a change, because it's not, whatever I'm doing is not working for me. Okay, so 1 is just admitting it. Step 2 is getting really, really clear on what you want, with like layers of beautiful detail within it. So it's like, I want to create, and you know, a lot of these are catchphrases, but I'm so down for it. It's like, I want an abundance of love and health and wealth and happiness in my life. And like, I'm ready to step into it. So getting really clear on what you want. And Erin, I ask you, like, what is it that you want to create in your life right now?
You know, it's been clarity and safety for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm noticing the clarity element of it is I've not really trusted myself. And so I've been in this escapism of people pleasing, and alcohol was a factor in it where, like, I'll give you a great example. I went to a girlfriend's birthday party, and usually we take shots
Yeah.
when we're celebrating. And I actually had to think about it. And I'm like, I don't like shots. I don't like them. They don't taste good to me. They don't make me feel good. And so for the longest time, Julie, I've been going to events, and if people offer me a shot, I say yes. And I haven't realized. And I spoke with this woman, the therapist, yesterday, who's amazing. She's like, that's the first sign of healing, is just being aware that you used to say yes. And I'm like, okay, I'm good with that.
I love that. Because now then boundaries come into play, right? By the way, side note on the shot thing, I don't like shots because I'll get drunk off of one. But like if you feel the pressure, not that you can't say no, but if you're like this is going to be annoying, just ask the bartender for water in yours.
Yeah, yeah,
like you know, if you don't want to deal with the people being like, "Come on, Erin," whatever, it's the lane. Just like, hey, just fill mine up with water. Done. Then you have to answer it.
Yeah.
However, just a tip. Okay, so that leads me to the third step, which is writing down and reflecting what is not working for you.
Mm.
This is the hard part and where a lot of people struggle, which is why it's amazing to do this with a friend, like you and I are doing it together, or with the coach or the therapist or someone that you trust, because this is when, like you're saying, okay, alcohol is not working for me right now. It's not supporting me in trusting myself and making these changes. So you eliminate it, right? Again, limiting beliefs. Like for me, it's kind of like waking up in the morning and feeling like I already haven't done enough, right? Or when it comes to career, thinking that, well, if I don't put my girls first, I'm a single mom, and if I don't put my girls first, then, you know, my career is going to come second. But I'm like, no, I can create the career of my dreams and be a great mom. You know, it's just looking at the things that are holding us back, that are getting in the way, and eliminating them.
Mm-hmm.
So cutting out the toxins, right? Whether that's alcohol or eating shit food or whatever it is that makes you feel like crap, taking it out and being very strict with yourself, saying, no, this is just going to go away.
Gossip.
Gossip.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just being around toxic people.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Because what is going to make me like vibrate at this incredible level, right? And we all know what those are.
Mm-hmm.
We really do, right? Which is amazing. So then, fourth step, this is the fun one, is the bucket list. And by the way, there's 5 steps altogether. So, fourth step is our bucket list, where, and I think I've really thought about this a lot, and because we're also dynamic.
Bucket list!
Yay!
It's so fun to do, right?
It's so fun to do, and they're small and they're big. Like yesterday, for me, it was jumping in the ocean with my daughter and like just being. We had so much fun. It was so perfect. But then also on the list is like planning my trip to Ireland. You know, what about you? What stands out in your list to you?
I love that, first of all, and I love that for you, it's big and small. And Julie, the thing that I love about you, and I'm so grateful I have you in my life, because it really means a lot that, like, I have friendships where we're not just saying, like, how was your day? Which, by the way, is totally fine, but like I had mentioned yesterday, Melissa, another girlfriend of ours, was like, what's the best part of your day and what was the worst part of your day? Like, having friends that can be accountable and reflecting to you your growth or where you're getting stuck, and feeling like you can trust somebody. Because yesterday when you were sending me that voice note and you're like, hey, how has it been for you? Like, this has been really fun for me. How has it been for you? And I'm like, it's amazing we just created it, the two of us. And that's why I'm saying for people at home, find a friend, a coach, a therapist, like, you know, someone like Julie who can really provide clarity and reflection. And by the way, be honest and transparent with our own growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like for me, I've been so heavy in therapy, and it's beautiful and it's been wonderful, but it's felt heavy and a lot of work.
Yep.
That I'm like, let's have some fun. So I
Yeah.
have like snorkeling, which was something I used to do with my dad a lot. Plan a scavenger hunt with a group of girlfriends. I
Fun.
want to go to, I want to create like a kickball league. I love kickball.
That's so
And then,
fun.
yeah, I have the big stuff on there. I want to do Croatia, Ireland, so maybe we'll go together. Greece is another one. Learn jujitsu. So,
Yeah.
tantric, which I had a meeting with your therapist yesterday, and I cannot
That's
wait to get
incredible.
started with her. So, what about for you?
Um, yes, the trip planning is important, but I want to go. I want to go into the fifth step because you
Okay.
already touched on it. I think if
Okay.
that's okay, because this is. I'm calling this a little bit like the 100 days. For me, it's 100 days,
Okay.
and I'm hoping it'll be a lifestyle shift completely. And I said 100 just because it just came into my mind when I did it. I was like, I want to do 100 days and go from there. But it's of soul play.
Mm-hmm.
So the term soul play was introduced to me from a friend who they're called Not Your Average Psychic. They're two women who are partners in business, and they are psychologists plus intuitives. So if you get a reading by them, it's like next level. It's like therapy plus guidance, and it's a lot of fun, and they kind of talk to your soul. But she had told me, she's like, soul play is just like when you get lost in whatever's calling to you in the day. So instead of saying like, I want to do these 10 things and check them off the list today, it's kind of like waking up and being like, I'm going to go to that cafe and I'm going to talk to some people there and meet some new people. And then like, maybe I'll go on a hike from there. And, just kind of allowing yourself to get lost in the present moment and let life take you on the direction that it wants to take you. Right? If I feel like if I'm asking the world, myself, to create and have extraordinary love and adventures and opportunities, then once again I need to stop trying to invent the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Like just need to be open. So for me it's like the bucket list is there because these are life things I do want to control and do. Like I want to go to Big Sur. I think that was on your list or someone's like, and I want to stare at the stars like all night long and sit by a campfire. Things like that, which are so important.
Yeah.
But I want to play with my soul the entire time I'm there. Right? Like that's where that transition, I think that's how we approach life changes drastically. Because we can't always be about, I want to do this and that and this and that. It's like a hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Right? But if we have these dreams that we want to fulfill for ourselves and then are open to the most beautiful things coming your way, then it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And if we're doing that, staying true to the things that aren't working for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Knowing that it's also okay to slip up. It is. Like, that happens, not the pressure. But as much as possible, staying aligned with what is out for your highest good. I think after 100 days, life is changed.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that you're applying it, in a way where it's not just a one-off. It's consistently finding ways to be intentional about your life. And I'm reading this book by Jim Quick called Limitless. Yeah. And I love it so much.
Limitless, by the way.
Yeah, it's a really good book. It's a fairly easy read. And Jim Quick is, he's kind of like a mind expert, brain expert. He had a couple of brain trauma injuries. Yeah. And in the book, he tells this story about how when he was sort of like deep diving into how to fix his brain, if you will, I don't remember exactly the gentleman, but he had given the advice of read these 3 books in a week. And he said, oh my gosh, so-and-so, I have a brain injury. I can't really read. Plus, I have schoolwork. I have to go and he said, this quote's great. He said, don't let schoolwork get in the way of your education. Huh. And you use the term hamster wheel.
Yeah.
which we all are on sometimes because we think we need to be the distractaholic, the workaholic, the achieveaholic, the succeedaholic. And we're so busy being busy that we're really not being busy living what our lives are. And that's what was the awareness that I had after my really like super low moment that I had last week. And I'm so proud of myself that I have friends like you that help up level, elevate, and lift me up, because a lot of times those really crummy low moments give us opportunity for perspective and then learn from them. And then, you know, like you became invested in being a coach and a grief therapist and trauma expert because of your really awful moments that you had when you were younger. And look at you now. You know, you have a book called Rise, which I want to get into, and I know we're running out of time. But for people that want to learn more about you, how do they get in touch with you? And also, tell us a little bit about your book Rise that you just launched.
Thanks. Well, first, in terms of I know we're only like 3 or 4 days into our bucket list, but have you noticed yourself being more still, and how has that felt?
Oh my God. You know, it is so weird, and I have to keep going back to the alcohol thing, because I was a casual once a day. I'd either have like a kombucha that has alcohol in it or a glass of wine. Yeah. So it wasn't excessive, but I was realizing it wasn't adding value to my clarity. To my skin. I tend to break out, and even just the 5 days of when people have offered, and I've been to so many events where there's been a lot of alcohol, free alcohol, organic wines, that's my jam. I'm like, oh my God, these like yummy cocktails. And being able to actually say no and sit in the discomfort of choosing me, and people go like, it's no big deal. Like no one cares.
Yeah.
That has been the big, and going, wow, I've been saying yes and been trying to be easygoing and go with the flow because I value social interaction so much. I'm an extrovert. I'm recognizing what other things am I saying yes to that I'm actually not really meaning to say yes to. So that's been, and like you said, it's all been in alignment with this very intentional bucket list. So I'm just noticing, like, it's okay to say, hey, I only have an hour to hang out. I gotta run. And by the way, respecting other people's boundaries.
Yeah.
And not taking it, so like that's been the biggest transformation. This week, I have seen so much stillness, and even calling myself out yesterday. I was very busy, and I'm like, okay, you're being busy, you're doing that thing, because then I forget what I'm doing, or I'm not very present, and then I don't remember these interactions, and I'm like, what did I even do yesterday? I don't even remember what I had for dinner. So like that's where I'm seeing the most movement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in the moments of stillness, you're not finding yourself having to distract.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Woo.
I know.
That's amazing.
I know.
And I know too, for people who are listening, but grief, if we're going through grief, we tend to run. Right? Mm-hmm. So slowing down can be, and I'm not putting this in you, but can be hard, because you're going to allow some space for emotion to come up, right? So as a friend, I'm here for you 100%, but that's also part of the healing journey, right? Is sitting in our feelings, sitting in, grief at the end of the day is really deep love. So remembering to reframe it, but just pure love and taking really, really, really good care of yourself.
I love that, Jules. And you hit the nail on the head, because sometimes I shame myself that I've been grieving for so long, or like, why does it hurt so much? But it's grief is just deep love, and I'm okay with that, because my dad and my brothers, they were very good humans, and they deserve all the grief in the world, because I love them so much.
Yeah.
How do people get in touch with you, and how do they get your book Rise?
So Rise, yay! This is my collection of 50 mini morning mindful meditations. So these are written over about a year of like my jam. When I'm the happiest self, I get up very early and I just go right into writing. Sometimes I meditate, sometimes I do movement, but that's when it's clearest for me. So these are just short. They're like 3 to 5 minutes. Oh, sorry if you can't hear me. Could be my voice too. But 3 to 5 minutes of meditations that are just meant to set the tone for the day, to reduce stress, all the good benefits of meditation without it being super long, which is the big problem that many people have, is just committing time. So rides you can get on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Google, like all of the goods, they're available. You can follow me on Instagram, or my website is, maybe I should type it in. It's a little confusing. It's myritual.com.
I love that.
Oh,
that's such
you.
a great, yeah.
Yeah, so that is my coaching. There's courses on there. There's free meditations, all kinds of goodies.
And you do meditations on Insight Timer as well, right?
Timer. Yeah,
that's huge.
I have a couple of courses on there. That's a free app. It's a global app. There's millions and millions of people on it. It's an incredible community. If anyone even is feeling kind of lonely or they want connection, it is like the friendliest. You can pop on. You can do live meditations. Listen to some of the best teachers in the world. It's phenomenal. It's Insight Timer. Yeah.
Well, this was really fun. And when are we going to Ireland and Big Sur? We'll have to plan that.
And I'm so in for snorkeling.
Yes, let's go snorkeling. Oh my God. Okay, amazing. Julie, I am president of your fan club. I adore you so much. Thank you for everything that you do for me as a friend, but also for your community. Please check out Julie. I will link her Instagram on this after we post this. But please continue to do such amazing healing work, and I look up to you so much.
You too. Keep shining. I love you so much. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for being my Woman Crush Wednesday, girl. All right, I'll see you soon.